It is Lucky Punch with another video, and today is going to be going over UFC 302 between Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier for the lightweight championship. And for the first fight on the main card, it's not a huge fight, but it is between Randy Rude Boy Brown from Jamaica versus Oleksiejczuk Zaleski. And this is a decent fight between two unranked welterweights. Randy Brown is on a 6-1 run, and he's 33, where Zaleski is 37 and 10-3-1 in the UFC. And he's going to want to get another UFC win and finally join the UFC rankings. And I think that Brown obviously should retire Zaleski here and use his superior reach and size to maintain distance in the fight, because Zaleski is a super skillful and talented striker. He has a very well-rounded striking setup with a lot of kicks, and I think he can utilize that to trap Brown, get him stuck in a corner, back him down, and knock him down. And he is a slight underdog, but I do like both of their odds here for knockdown. And now a heavyweight matchup between two ranked heavyweights who are both on a good run in the UFC, with Jailton Maladino Almeida and Alexander King Kong Romanov. And this is a great fight between two high-level grapplers. Almeida is listed as a boxer, but he's a great grappler, and he needs to move past his fraud check. Getting KO'd against blades is something that Romanov can look forward to. A game plan to beat Almeida, where Almeida's grappling before blades was almost perfect in the UFC. He had complete control in almost every single fight, so he should try and get back on track here, out-wrestle King Kong, and take him down. And Romanov should try not to get stuck on the canvas, be very patient with his game plan as the underdog, try and copy blades and get a little ground and pound while Almeida's in control on the ground. And now hopefully another banger in the middleweight division between Kevin the Trailblazer Holland versus Mikhail Hussar Oleksiejczuk. I think that was close. And Holland's been hovering around the bottom of the middleweight rankings for a while now and dropping down to welterweight, but he looks very good as a middleweight, fighting an unranked guy now. This will be his 17th fight since 2020, which is crazy. He's on a crazy run, but he keeps losing and really not moving up the rankings in like very weird fights. MVP kind of sunned him on their feet, if we're being honest. I like Holland a lot, but he needs to get a finish. He's got to be aggressive. It almost looks like he's not trying sometimes, and I think he's very overdue to make a run up the division if he ever wants to progress past this bottom of the ranking spot he's in. But Oleksiejczuk is a very good striker. I think he needs to get dirty and win the early rounds. Holland might not be as aggressive as he should be early. Mikhail can capitalize early as the underdog and try and win off a decision. I don't think he's going to KO him, but he could win off points if he takes the early rounds. But he has to be very careful of Holland's size and reach, as it gives him a huge advantage on the feet. And when Kevin Holland fights and he goes to a decision, most of the time he loses, so he really needs a KO here. And now a banger in the middleweight division that probably could have happened a few years ago, but Sean Tarzan Strickland, the number 1 ranked middleweight and former champ, versus Paulo the Eraser Costa from Brazil. And this is a huge fight between two great strikers, both 33. Strickland will be the favorite, but most likely the winner of this will get the next title shot. Let's say DDP fights Izzy at 305. Izzy might not deserve it, but that's probably the way it's going to happen in Australia. The winner of this fight will probably fight for the title. This is a huge fight for both of them. Sean should look to outpace Costa. He is a great gas tank, and he should diversify his attacks. Sometimes he gets a little boring sticking to his jab, and he loves his Philly shell and his boxing style so much. But I think if he really wants his title shot, he should get aggressive like he did against Izzy and really switch up the way he's attacking, because Costa is going to be attacking him constantly and with everything he can, like rubbing blood on him or kicking him or throwing lethal combos, and I think this will be a battle that he should prepare for. But Costa hasn't finished a fight since 2018 against Uriah Hall. He goes to a lot of decisions when he does win. I think Sean has the gas tank for it. Costa goes to a lot of decisions, so this is going to get bloody and dirty later on, and I think this is really going to be a close fight and a banger either way. It really depends on who's going to adapt and not gas out in the later rounds. And taking the over on rounds in this fight, I think, is the best bet if you're looking for one. And for the main event, which really brings the whole card all together, is the lightweight title fight between the champ Islam Makhachev versus the number 4 ranked contender Dustin the Diamond Poirier, and diamonds are forever, but this might be Dustin's last fight, so he should go all out on his feet, go for another knockdown. He's been in some crazy fights with crazy damage in the last few years, especially against guys like BSD and Gaethje and McGregor and Khabib, and obviously the fights went either way in his favor or not in his favor, but he's 35 now, and this is his best chance to get a belt against the number one pound for pound guy. I don't care what you say about Jon Jones. It is Islam right now. But Islam should stick to his game plan. Don't get cocky on the feet. Be very wary of Dustin's power. This whole fight could change in one instant. Islam is the huge favorite and he deserves to be. He's been amazing. He destroyed Volk and totally dethroned him. And now Dustin's going to be trying to do the same thing to him. And for Dustin, no guillotines, just like his coach told him.
No more guillotines. No more guillotines. You did it.
Stance, as does Saint Denis. Oh yeah, guillotine. Dustin's looking for that guillotine once again.
And now he's got it standing.
Dustin again is looking for a guillotine. One more. He's doing it again. They told him not to go for the guillotine, but he's going for it.
In his own right, Dustin cannot jump guillotine again.
He's coming back. Guillotine again, though.
He can't be doing it. It was funny against BSD, but against someone like Islam, he will get choked out and punished for it if it doesn't work. So Dustin should go out with a bang. I think doing a guillotine one time would be funny, maybe in round 1. But after that, he has to be very careful with it. A little bit like Rocky versus Ivan Drago, where Islam's not going to be reckless. He's just like a machine, and he's going to have Khabib in his corner, coaching him well and keeping him with the game plan. And it's not going to be like Saint Denis, where he was winning that fight against Poirier and he got reckless and got hit with the Dustin power. So I think a round 3 submission by Islam is most likely, but Dustin could definitely get a crazy knockout here to go out. Something I definitely want to see, obviously, him to be a champ, but Islam is the favorite, and most likely he's going to get a submission here. And just going over my past picks, as I always do, I've started at UFC 294. I've done every pay-per-view until now, and my lock of the nights, which I think is guaranteed to hit, is 7-1, which is pretty good. And then my main card picks is 30, 16, and 1, so pretty good so far. And my official picks for UFC 302, starting with the bottom, a welterweight bout between Randy Brown and Zaleski. Randy Brown's on a 6-1, but I'm going to take Zaleski. I think he'll back him up and knock him out. And then Almeida versus Romanov in a heavyweight matchup. Almeida's one of my favorite heavyweights. Before the Blades fraud check, he was one of the most hyped, but I think he's going to regain it here with a submission in the first 2 rounds on Romanov. And then going to Holland versus Oleksiejczuk, a middleweight fight. I think Holland's going to capitalize on the opportunity and KO Mikhail. And then going to the top, Strickland versus Paulo Costa, a banger middleweight fight. I think Paulo Costa is going to win this fight. It's going to go either way, but I'm taking the underdog in Costa. And I think his attack is going to be just too much for Strickland to handle. And then for the main event, I'd love to say Dustin wins with a KO or maybe submission by guillotine, which if that happens, Islam would have to retire, especially in front of Khabib. But I think Islam is going to get a round 3 submission. Could be a rear naked choke after a failed guillotine by Dustin, but that's what I like. So 2 underdogs here. I do feel confident about this card though. And the first pick on the award show is the lock of the night, a bet that I guarantee will win for you guys, and is Grant Dawson at -395 against Joe Zaleski. I think Grant Dawson is a very underrated fighter. Obviously the Bobby Green early KO is very disappointing, but I think Grant Dawson's going to get right back on track here with a KO reminiscent of Ali. Not really. And for the punchline of the night, it's got to be Dustin Poirier's possible retirement fight. We're not 100% sure yet, but it will be a banger either way. Dustin's going to go for that guillotine and try and chop Islam's head off, chop the king #1 pound for pound fighter in the guillotine, and become the lightweight champion before he goes out. And it could even be similar to Rocky taking the head off of Ivan Drago and taking down the heavily favorite fighter. So this will be a great storyline and a great fight no matter what happens. And for the Punch Bowl, the overall best fight on the card, I'm going to give it to Strickland versus Paulo Costa, a middleweight fight. I think it will be a banger of the secret juice man. Costa is going to try and get away with a murder, and if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit. Both of them are proficient grapplers, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot of striking, a lot of stand-up action, and Sean is going to get crazy and angry in the ring. I think he's only gotten angrier since the Izzy fight and the DDP loss on the decision, so it's going to be a banger. Sean likes Costa, but either way, they're going to be dueling all fight. I think it's going to be bloody, it's going to be dirty, and it's probably going to go the entire way. So either way, it will be a great fight. And that is going to be it for today's video. So comment down below how you feel about my predictions, possible predictions you guys have, and anything that you want to see more on the channel. I always love hearing from you guys and getting the support. So leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for next time. And sorry for no uploads in about a month. That is my bad. I was moving back from school, but you're going to be getting a lot more videos this summer from me.